What are we have to be aware when we look at a pregnant woman? Anemia is one of the biggest problems that they face. Doctors usually combat them with folic acid. So the nutrition management, When they go for increased frequency of menstruation, never ever advise them to drink less of water. Encourage them to have lots of liquids, water, fruits, vegetables as part of the nutrition. What I would request them, at least keep telling them to have dry fruits, vegetables, lots of water in a day. All this helps them to combat their other major issues of vomiting to the last trimester till the constipation. All this can be tackled well with a good nutrition rather than ask them to avoid a lot of white products, all white meat and a lot of salt intake. All this can be avoided to cut down the thing. Usually what happens is Indian standards of when we think about nutrition, everybody tries and depends more on junks. Okay, you eat whatever you like. So eat whatever you like, but at the same time cut down on the excess of junk foods basically. All the junk foods, so usually they will not have craving towards it. Only the relatives and the family members giving a good support to a woman, gives them the craving to make them to eat a lot. So if you're being with the client in touch, I think you can certainly give them in support to tell them to avoid. That's one thing that is considered nutrition. Avoid junks and all carbonated drinks and meat if possible. That's one thing as a part of the yogic food. Whatever yogic food is there, try and enhance more of yogic food. And then coming on to the yoga is one of the major parts. When to start, when to stop, what ought to be done, what not to be done. This becomes very important. Do you have any doubts till now about the pregnancy of the 40th week? What are the signs, symptoms they have? What are the problems they undergo in this nature? They'll also have an anomaly scan or something which is to be kept in mind to go through the report. At least we should be able to see that the child is normal. And very late they will have quadriceps, twins, triplets like that. Twins, we have two childs inside the womb. There are certain precautions to be taken that I will tell. And you also have to go through when you meet a pregnant woman, try and ask her, is it her first pregnancy or has been any abortions in the previous things? Were the abortions happened spontaneously without her knowledge or something like that? Was it a medical termination due to some problems? Or is it if it is her second pregnancy, or was the child terminated? See, the first stage of trimester of pregnancy is called embryo. The second is fetus. The third is child. The third trimester we address the womb as child already because the child is completely formed by then. After 28th week, the child can survive outside without the support of the mother's womb, basically. Because by then the entire development of the neural system, the lungs and all that will happen. Keeping them in an intensive care with the support of the breathing and nutrition, the child can survive outside without the mother's womb due to the protection. But before 28 weeks, it certainly becomes quite difficult for the child to survive. Even though a lot of scientific research have been done, they try and survive the child. It's one of the rare cases that they do if the child is after 22nd, 23rd week. The rate is also very less in survival. So try and trace out the history. Is it the first pregnancy? Is it the second pregnancy? Or what miscarriages? Is there any stillbirth? And some of the major issues you should also keep in mind. They might have pregnancy-related diabetes or gestational diabetes, which is also because of the hormones that what the woman has in her. Because of the thin insulin or the insulin incompetency, the woman might develop a gestational diabetes, which is temporary. Most of the women have temporary. They have a test for that. Right at the 13th week and the 22nd week, they do a test for that. And the second thing is they may also undergo systemic hypertension. Sometimes the woman might have hypertension. One of the symptoms I missed again, one of the problems that they face is the swelling in the field. The swelling of the field increases as they progress with the pregnancy. Right? By 9th month or by the 32nd week, the swelling starts increasing. Check in the mind, is it because of the hypertension or is it just because of the weight that they have increased? That's one thing that we have to keep in mind. Coming on to anything else we missed out to sum up here now before I move on to yoga? I think all the three are sitting here mothers. They should speak more on this whatever I've said now here. Anything else?
Most of the points.
Yeah. Coming on to the emotional, this is what happens in physiology to outlook for all of us, right? The moment the woman comes to know that she is carrying or she is expected or she is going to be a mother, the excitement in the family also goes up, the excitement in her also goes up. Most of the in Indian scenario of the pregnant women, the support on another side increases is of backing up a lot of emotions. But here what happens, she have a lot of emotional irritations basically. Anger, worry, frustrations, all this also might go up. Emotionally she feels very dipped at the first 3 months. Because of the morning sickness, there is no proper hunger and her inputs towards her being pregnant, she starts correcting what happens to me in the next stage. This anxiety levels are too peak till 12th week. And sometimes this will continue at the second trimester, especially at the 6th month they may also get into a forgetfulness state of mind. They also come and complain to us often, I'm forgetting. For example, I kept milk on the cook inside the kitchen, but I didn't remember. That's one of the common things, nothing to be worried about it much or because of their emotions. And by then the second trimester they try and collect the information about the malformations in the pregnancies, especially what happens to my child, to me, how the delivery goes. This anxiety about the first trimester is only the mood alterations. The second trimester is more of an anxiety period where it is related to her and the child. The first trimester she is not worried about the child much, all her protection is to herself and to see that there is no miscarriage. The second trimester, the anxiety develops to her and to the child in the case, what happens to the umbilical cord? Does the umbilical cord get twisted around the child's neck? Will my child die within the womb? All these anxieties she develops by the second and third trimester. By then she is quite normal. From the second to third trimester there is no much of mood swings, depressions, all of this is not there. It's only the forgetfulness in the second trimester which usually she might face a bit. Apart from this, they're all very physical symptoms. For us to tackle the first trimester, when she comes to us before the first trimester, before starting up to her yoga, make her more easy, comfortable, talk to her for 5 minutes, take her